Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the channel. Another episode of the weekly watches. It's a bit delayed, 2 weeks delayed obviously. I went away for a few days, not last week, the week before. So whilst I was away I didn't have access obviously to any of my physical media to watch, so there wasn't that much this time last week that I felt was worth making a video about. And of course now since then I've watched shitloads. In fact, I've gone through a whole film series, 8 films in the last week. Half of them were rewatches, half of them were first time watches. But I'm going to rank the whole film series at the end and talk about each one. So I'll leave those until the end. Although I say it's a whole film series, there is like a newer one. But it's generally considered the weakest, and there's no characters from any of the main films in that film, so I'm not too fussed about that one, and I don't even think you can get it on physical media anyway. But before I get started, I will just mention obviously tomorrow night, it's live stream 7 o'clock. I mention it every week, but yeah, I'd imagine I'll be joined by Andy and Kenny again as usual. I don't know who else is planning on joining tomorrow yet. We'll just have to see. I always leave it last minute, and I don't know why. I should probably plan it a bit more in advance. But it gets to Sunday, and that's usually about the time when I like sort of make the stream and send the links out to everyone that's taking part, asking people if they're free, that sort of thing. So I'll just see who's free anyway, but it'll be fun regardless, as it usually is. Never know where it's going to go, those streams. But anyway, I'll get straight, straight on. And I'll try and not take too long, because like I say, quite a few to go through. And I'll start with Bullitt, Steve McQueen in Bullitt. Yeah, just another sort of classic 60s film that I'd had in the collection. I think I picked this up. Might have been in the vault last year when we went to Birmingham, like sort of this time last year. May have been, I know it was this time last year. It may have been in the one in the Bullring. I can't remember now, but yeah, considered a classic film, and I thought it was okay. A bit boring. The car chase, even so, I felt was a bit dated. I was in and out of the film. I think it's too long. It's more definitely a film of its time, I would say. I do like Steve McQueen, but of the Steve McQueen films I have seen so far, this would probably be the weakest in my opinion. Yeah, I like a good detective story, but like I said, it was just something about this. It's very dialogue heavy. There's a lot going on, and it takes a long time to get to anywhere, and it just didn't grab me, unfortunately, watching it for this first time. I primarily watched it because it's got a small performance from Robert Duvall in it, and around the time I watched it, he just recently passed away. So I wanted to try and watch some films in my collection of his that I haven't seen already. And it's not really his film, like I said, he's got a very small part in the film. It's a very early performance from him, but it's okay. I'll go back to it again at some point. Don't know when, but yeah, I've watched it. That's Bullitt. Put that down there in my 60s pile. The only DVD I watched this week, I just fancied this sort of film. It's got a fantastic cast, and it's one that's sort of had my attention for quite a while now. So yeah, I just decided to put it on. And that's The January Man, Kevin Kline, Susan Sarandon, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, I think I got it right, Harvey Keitel, Danny Aiello, Rod Steiger, Alan Rickman. Just a fantastic cast in here. It's like a private detective sort of comedy, although he's an ex-detective that they bring back in to help with this serial killer. But it's quite comical as well. A lot of it is played for laughs. I really like Kevin Kline. I'm watching a series that he's in at the moment called American Classic. He's really good in that. I just like these sorts of sort of late 80s, early 90s thrillers that don't take themselves too seriously. Like I said, fantastic cast. I thought it was pretty funny. It's I believe produced by Norman Jewison as well, who's a fantastic director. Yeah, I'd say give it a go if you like these sorts of films. It's quite an easy watch, not too long either. I think it's just over an hour and a half. so it doesn't take up too much time. And yeah, it was a pleasant watch. That is The January Man. I'm going to take it out of this now. I think Carlos just put it in here just for protection, delivering it. So yeah, I've mentioned it already in my last video, that I think, yeah, it was my last video that was uploaded now, where Carlos, Eastwood for Life fan, I'm sure everybody knows Carlos already, sent me some wonderful gifts, this being one of them, I think, and another one coming up as well, and then the third one he sent me I haven't got around to watching yet. I'll have to try and stick that on soon. But Carlos very kindly sent me the Arrow limited edition Blu-ray set of The Hills Have Eyes. Wes Craven sort of, I don't know if you'd call it his breakthrough, because obviously he had The Last House on the Left, which I think was his first film, but this sort of came towards, I think this was after that. Yeah, but I think it's considered a cult film now, this, to be fair. It's definitely an interesting watch, that's for sure. It's not going to be for everyone. And I'll be honest, I don't know how often myself I would go back to it. I did appreciate it. I thought, like I said, it was an interesting watch. I'm told that I think it's 2006 Alexandra Aya remake is actually a lot, like, is people enjoy it more than this one. So I might have to try and get my hands on that and give that a watch, see what I think of that. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was creepy, very atmospheric, some interesting characters in here. It's an interesting story, but it's good. It's one that I can see it growing for me on rewatches. So yeah, thank you again, Carlos. Glad that I've watched it, because it's been one that I've been sort of intrigued with for quite a while. Didn't know whether it would be my sort of thing or not, but yeah, I'm glad that I watched it. That's The Hills Have Eyes, which can go into my 70s pile. I got, in case you were wondering what I do, I've recorded the first video, because I don't have any more shelf space now, I've moved it around. Sort of most of my 70s, 60s and backwards films are now just in piles neatly on the floor. So anytime I've watched a film that I've not seen before that falls into one of those decades, it'll just be added to the pile. Nice and easy for me, because I don't have to file it away. Anyway, next up, another one of those Kino Lorber 4Ks. I think I've got 2 still to watch. I think, yeah, I've got 1 planned to watch this evening. But yeah, this was such a fun film. The Rundown, I'd seen it before. I think over here it's called Welcome to the Jungle. I'd seen this many years ago as a Peter Berg film. It stars The Rock, Sean William Scott, Rosario Dawson, and Christopher Walken, who's great as the villain in this, as he usually is. But yeah, it's a very, very fun sort of action comedy. He basically plays a bounty hunter, I suppose, and he's sent on a mission by his employer to go and retrieve his son from the Amazon jungle. He's gone looking for this, like, sort of eluded a mysterious treasure or what have you. But when he gets there, he runs into some trouble, and comes across Christopher Walken's character, who's sort of taken control of this small town. They're mining for something, and he gets on the wrong side of him, and they've got to try and escape and get back home safely. Fun film, like I said, some good action, good balance of comedy in here. It's very entertaining, and one that, yeah, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. That is The Rundown, which can go, because my Kinos are right in front of me, so it'll slide nicely in there. We then have, next up, I don't believe I've shown this off officially in a video yet. There may be quite a few, throwing everything around, maybe quite a few like that, because I've not recorded my Chester pickups video yet, and this was one of them, but I did show this on my 400 subscribers live stream, so if you watch that, you'll have already seen it. Excuse me. But as soon as I got home from Chester, I felt like, I think it was just over a week ago now, I felt like watching something easy, and this was a short watch, so I put on Alien Nation, and I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. You got James Caan, Mandy Patinkin, Terence Stamp, who's a fantastic villain in this, and it's basically follows these alien species called the Newcomers, who land on Earth. I think it's in the early 90s, and they have to try and sort of live amongst us, and they're getting human jobs and that, but a lot of humans don't like them, want them off the planet or whatever. And one day James Caan's partner gets killed in the line of duty by one of them. He starts to investigate it, but obviously he's lost a partner. And the first alien newcomer is promoted to detective, and he puts himself forward to be his partner because he just wants to get in on the newcomers and get more intel on them to try and find out who killed his partner and get whoever's responsible for it. And it's very good. Got some good comedy in there as well. Like I said, a lot of good action. It's a good time, fun time. If you like want a good sci-fi sort of cop thriller watch, give this one a go. Again, only short, again, an hour and a half. But I had a blast with it. So yeah, that is Alien Nation. Another one you won't have seen yet, another 80s film. I chucked this on after Alien Nation because, again, it's only an hour and a half, so it was a pretty quick and easy watch. And that's Kevin Costner and Judd Nelson in Fandango. Another sort of 80s coming-of-age college road film, I would say it is. It's about 4 groups of friends. I believe they've just graduated college. It's the early 70s. And 2 of them, because they flunked at college, have to enlist in the army, I believe. So before they have to go and sign up for enrollment or whatever in a few days, they decide to take a long road trip down to Mexico to go and see... can't remember the name now. Basically, they got to go and find something in the desert that they left there many years ago. And obviously, it doesn't go straightforward. Getting there is not as easy as you would expect. There's a funny scene with the train when their car breaks down, trying to get pulled by a train. I thought that was quite good. The whole part at the parachute jumping school, I thought that was hilarious. It's a very fun film. It's very funny. Again, it's very short, and it just shows that Kevin Costner is a star. This was sort of the film that pushed him to prominence, I would say. I think just after this he had Silverado, and then obviously he went on to do No Way Out and The Untouchables. But yeah, just a really fun coming of age road high school or college film. So yeah, I'd recommend that. Sam, you would probably like that. I'd imagine Ash, you would get on with this one if you've not seen it. So yeah, that's Fandango. And next up, the other film that Carlos very kindly sent me. Well, there's 2 or 3 that he very kindly sent me. Again, I think it was last Sunday now, afternoon. I needed an easy watch in the evening. And I thought, this is going to be a fairly easy, mindless, turn your brain off, leave it at the door sort of watch. So I stuck on Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And it's a very fun film. I wouldn't say it's my favourite Van Damme film. That would probably be Time Cop. I love Time Cop. Or, is it Sudden Death? The ice hockey one, I think it's Sudden Death, isn't it? Which I need to grab at some point. I love both of those films. This was fun. He's playing dual roles in this, playing twin brothers, separated at birth. They cut their paths cross again, and they've got to sort of team up against these bad guys that, like triads and all that, that basically are responsible for killing their parents. It's a fun film. It's, like I said, it is exactly what you expect it to be. It's sort of a turn your brain off, leave it at the door kind of film. You don't have to pay too much attention to it to get enjoyment from it. I really liked it. I want to get more of these 88 Films editions with Jean-Claude Van Damme in them. Just because I want to go through more of his catalogue, because I know he did a lot of stuff in the late 80s and throughout the 90s and even the early noughties. So I want to go and delve into a lot of that stuff. I know not all of it's going to be great, but I think most of them are going to be somewhat entertaining. But yeah, this one definitely hit the spot for me. That is Double Impact. To leave them till last, because those are the ones that I'm going to be doing the rankings for, not that one. So 4 more normal films to go, and then we'll be ranking the film series that I mentioned watching. This was mentioned on the live stream last Monday. We were talking about 90s and noughties, comedies, great comedies, that sort of thing. And this one was mentioned, and I've had it in my collection again. I think this one I picked up in the vault last April as well, and I've just not seen it yet. And I thought, again, just over an hour and a half, I thought another easy watch, why not give it a go? And that's Basketball which is a Trey Parker and Matt Stone film. Very funny, directed by David Zucker, who obviously was responsible for Airplane, Naked Gun, Top Secret, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a really funny film, very good story, different take on sort of a sports film. It's definitely more of a sports comedy. You got Robert Vaughn in there as well, Ernest Borgnine, small role, but he's really good in it. Yeah, very, very fun film about two sort of best friends that have been best friends since they were young that decide to start up this new sport. It's a ridiculous sport, but that's what makes the film so funny, because it's just implausible, this sport, and the situations that these two characters end up in. Yeah, really good 90s film this is. That's BASEketball. Next up, I got to thank my good friend Kenny for recommending this one. I don't know why I picked this up on physical, because it's a Netflix film and you can't actually get a proper physical for it. I went on eBay and just looked it up, and I've got a really bad sort of not official edition, shall we say. I paid about £15 for it, but I must say the actual quality and sound of the disc is immaculate. It's just the packaging could be a lot nicer. It's in a very, very thin case. The film in question is Nonna's. The artwork, as you can see, is very low quality, very shoddy stuff, not as it was advertised on eBay. Case is dodgy, it's broken on the bottom. It's a weird, like, double-sided disc thing. But like I said, the picture quality was great. I've got a physical copy of it now. I enjoyed the film. That's the main thing. It's a lovely film based on a true story. It follows Vince Vaughn's character, whose mother has very recently passed away. He was very close to his mother ever since growing up as a child, and his nonna, which is basically Italian for grandmother. And they used to share a love of food and cooking as he grew up. So he decides, because he's sort of a bit lost after his mum passes away, he decides he buys a restaurant to open as an Italian restaurant, and hires 4 elderly grandmothers, nonnas, as the cooks. Yeah, it's just such a heartwarming, endearing film with a fantastic cast. Like I said, you've got Vince Vaughn, Lorraine Bracco, Talia Shire, Linda Cardellini, Susan Sarandon, Brenda Vaccaro, sorry, Joe Manganiello, however you say his name. Yeah, really, really fun film. I really did enjoy this, and I would recommend it. If you don't want to pick up the physical, I said, there isn't really a physical. It's streaming on Netflix, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, that is Nonna's. Right, next up, I watched The Quick and the Dead, which again, I haven't shown in a video yet, because this was part of this month's Amazon voucher from work. I got this one recommended to me quite a few times now, and I'm really getting into the sort of Western genre a lot more. Fantastic cast: Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio. You've got Tobin Bell in there, Lance Henriksen, Pat Hingle, Gary Sinise. Music's done by Alan Silvestri, and obviously it's directed by Sam Raimi. Very different sort of Western, very different in tone. Quite a unique, quirky Western. It's about a woman who goes to this small town called Redemption. You're not quite sure why she's there to start with, but every year they hold like a shooting competition, like, you know, when they do the shoot each other, like that, you know what I mean. If you've seen a Western, you know what I mean. Where they go up against each other until you get the winner, who's obviously the ultimate shootist. Gene Hackman's character rules over the town. He's very corrupt, very horrible character, and he has wronged Sharon Stone's character in the past, and that is why she is out for revenge to get him. Like I said, thoroughly entertaining film, and yeah, it looks great, the way it's shot, and the way the film itself is edited, like the quick shots to each other with the music, I think is excellent. Yeah, really underrated Western here. That's The Quick and the Dead. And a film which I have just watched, which took me all morning to watch, because it's a long film, nearly clocking in at 3 hours. I had to have a break in the middle because it's quite a heavy film as well, but very good film. And that's Braveheart. First time watch of Braveheart. I'd seen this on a lot of people's top 10 films of the 90s lists, and it's been sat in the collection for a while, so I thought, as it's the weekend, I'd pop it in the player and give it a watch. And very, very powerful film, very good film. If you like your historical films, it's for you. It's about William Wallace, who sort of led the movement of freeing Scotland from the rule of England back in like the late 1200s. So what's that? The late 13th century, I suppose it would be. Basically, we were fuckers basically to the Scottish, and it makes you just feel horrible, the things that we did to people as a nation. Yeah, disgusting the way that people were treated in this, and even to the fact of I mean, it's a true story, but just the way that people were killed by the government is barbaric and disgusting, and they called us barbaric, but really, we called them barbaric, sorry, but really we were the barbaric ones. Yeah, really interesting stuff. Brendan Gleeson, I absolutely loved in this. I thought he was, yeah, he stole the film for me. He's not got a huge role. He's sort of like his best friend, William's best friend. But yeah, really solid stuff. I'm sure most people have already seen Braveheart, but if you've not, if you've got 3 hours to spare, I recommend checking it out because, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the films which I'm going to rank and talk about is, of course, the American Pie film series. So I rewatched all 4 of the main films and then the 4 sort of late noughties spin-offs that they did. So yeah, I'll rank each one from least favourite to best. I enjoyed all of them. I had a blast with all of them. And I'll basically talk to you about each of them. So I'd say probably last place for me would be The Naked Mile. I enjoyed it. Again, I still enjoyed it. It's sort of focusing on Stifler's, two of Stifler's cousins. You've got, I think, is it Eric and Dwight? I think it's Eric and Dwight Stifler. And basically Eric goes to visit his cousin Dwight, who is in a fraternity at college for a weekend. There's an event that happens every year called the Naked Mile, where they all run a mile naked. Obviously it's a sex comedy, so you kind of expect things that are going to happen. Lots of nudity in all of these films. And yeah, antics ensue, that sort of thing. I thought it was entertaining. I liked it. Like I said, it's at the bottom for me, but it's still worth the watch, I would say. And then I would probably, right above it, I'd go Beta House, which is the other one following Eric and Dwight Stifler. This one, Eric's now going to college. He's joining Beta House, which is the fraternity run by his cousin Dwight. And they meet girls. They've got to do this, like, there's this geeky fraternity that are absolute schmucks. They want to be the top and everything, and they want to bring the betas down, and basically they challenge them, or the geek fraternity challenges them to this big event which hasn't been done for many years because it got banned by the college. And yeah, it's a fun film. Again, it's what you expect from an American Pie film. There's a lot of sex. It's corny, it's cheesy, it's a lot of fun. Get my words out. I'm then going to go for, and it only just edges the other one out. All the spin-offs are at the bottom, then the 4 ones. It's just the way it is. The spin-offs are still a lot of fun, but they're not as good as the main films because they've not got the main characters in them. I'm going to go for Bandcamp next, which follows Matt Stifler, which is Stifler's younger brother, who is in the first and second film, I believe. I don't think he's in the third one, and I don't think he pops up in the fourth one either. And this one, basically, he causes something to happen at a band performance at school, and the school counsellor, played by the Shermanator, he is the Shermanator, which I thought was a funny addition. Basically says that he's got to go to band camp over the summer, otherwise he'll be kicked out of school. So obviously he goes to band camp, doesn't want to do anything with it, but chaos ensues. He just wants to get into girls' pants and all that, and it's a lot of fun. It's exactly the type of film you expect it to be. as an American Pie film, and again, like I said, I had a blast with it. And then I'd follow that up with The Book of Love, which is the last of the main spin-offs. Like I said, they did the shitty one a few years ago that doesn't have any characters associated to the main films at all in it. And this one follows another one of the, well, no, I say that, a younger Stifler cousin's in it, but he's more of a he's not a main character in this one. It follows another guy, I can't think of his name, and his group of friends, basically, and they discover this book that teaches them everything they need to know about love and sex and all that. And they're all virgins, so they want to lose their virginity, as with most of the American Pie films. So they're using this book to try and play to their advantage. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of funny moments in this. There's a scene when they go to Canada. That whole bit really got me. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's the type of humour that gets me. The American Pie films are some of my favourite comedies. I just loved it. So yeah, that is The Book of Love. So that's all the spin-offs. I've got them all watched. Those were first time watches, and I had a blast watching all of them. I also went back through and watched the main film series. I believe I already spoke about the first one, but if I'm ranking them, the next one down the list for me would be American Pie: The Wedding, so the third American Pie film. I put it above the spin-offs because it's still a blast. You've not got Oz coming back, Chris Klein's character. In the third one, I don't know why he just decided he didn't want to come back for it, but pretty much everyone else is in it. There's a few. I don't think Sherman's in the third one, and I don't think the MILF guys are. No, the MILF guys are in the third one. Yeah, because they are at the wedding. I can remember now. But basically, Jim and Michelle are getting married, and it's all about up to their wedding, like the bachelor party, all of that, and you could kind of expect all the shit to go on. It's very funny. The whole bachelor thing with the two strippers going around to Jim's house, and then Michelle's parents turn up with Jim. That was hilarious, all of that bit. It's all funny. The bit at the wedding with Stifler and Stifler and Jim's grandma was hilarious. I thought that was really good. Yeah, it's still a really fun film, even though it's not quite as good as the others. I still have a lot of fun with it. I then put, just above that, I put American Reunion. Obviously, it's nearly 10 years since the third one, where we get to Reunion, where they're all coming back for the reunion. Everyone from the original film comes back in some capacity, even though if it's only for one scene. I think everybody's in Reunion. And it's fun. It's just nice to see where these characters are sort of like 10 years down the line, what's happened to their lives. Like Stifler's still Stifler. He's still exactly the same as he was back at school. And yeah, it's just fun seeing these characters again. I just fucking love to see them do another one. I don't know if I want to see like American Funeral and it's like either Stifler's mum or Jim's dad just died, because I think they add something, like Jim's dad really adds something to these films, even the spin-offs when he pops up in them. So if it was him, then I wouldn't be up for that, but I'm open to seeing if they do it, how they're going to do it. But I'd just love to see another, even a spin-off, even do another spin-off, but it has to be funny. You have to be able to do the jokes that they did back in those films. Yes, they're risky now in today's society, but they're funny. If they make you laugh, then that's the whole point of it, even if some people get offended by it. If you're offended by it, just don't watch it, then you can't get offended by it. It's quite simple. Anyway, enough waffling. Then I'd go to, which is almost just as good as the first one. Obviously, this time they're at college, it's summer break, they go into Stifler's cabin for the summer. They want to throw a massive party, get some girls, that sort of thing. I think it's Stifler's cabin, or is it? No, I think they just hire a cabin out and Stifler tags along. The whole scene, they're renovating these two girls' house. The whole scene where Stifler breaks in and all of that is hilarious. Yeah, it's just another really, really fun addition to the American Pie series. And then, of course, number one is the first one, which is one of my favourite comedies of all time now. I'm not going to spoil. It will appear at some point in my top 10 films of the 90s list. Just rewatching it recently, I just adore it. It's one of the funniest films I've seen. It's just my sort of humour, like I say, and I just love all of the characters in it and what they get up to. So yeah, that is the first American Pie, which is at the top for me. But that's all of the films I've sort of watched in the last 2 weeks, and for some reason it's at the length that most of the weekly watches go at, but I've watched more than usual. So there you go, must have not talked, or maybe I talked too much, I don't know. Anyway, let me know if you've seen any of the ones I've watched recently in the comment section below, and give me your thoughts. Yeah, like I said, live stream tomorrow night at 7. Please do join us if you're free, and just put a comment, question, or whatever. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded to the channel. Comment down below anything and everything. As you know, I always take the time to get back to anyone that leaves me a comment, because I really do appreciate it. And that's it. So until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye.